Buddy, it's me, Lynn Rene MacDonald. I was like wondering what was going on. Apparently, we had some crazy stuff going on as we're getting ready. Anyways, tonight it is Sunday evening. It's time for our live talk forum here, live on Facebook and at the Institute for Christ Consciousness and the Copper Dragon here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. We're a love, energy, healing, and teaching center for people and pets, and we do all kinds of metaphysical services as well as all kinds of health services, be it mental, physical, spiritual, everyday guidance, advice, wisdom, tools to assist you with your best life from love, okay? So thanks for coming, everybody. I'm excited. There's people coming in now. Mark just arrived. Hi, Mark. How are you? Good. All right. And it's time for our show, Live Talk Forum. Get your questions together. We have some really cool wisdom for these times, what's going on, current events. A lot of people may be shocked and crazy, thinking I'm crazy about some things that we're going to talk about tonight, guided by higher knowing, guided by love in the purest form, Christ consciousness, okay? So tonight we're going to answer your questions. We have some great wisdom for these times, these challenges, because the best place to be in these days is in your heart. If you're not in your heart, you're going to be at a deficit. What does that mean? Just do everything coming from love, but you must put yourself first in the healthiest, best way from love. Yes, my people are like doing this is what
same shit every fucking
I know. My people are crazy. I love them, but it's all crazy tonight. Already the crazy is happening, right? We're trying to be harmonious and getting it together. All right, so I'm going to give them a few minutes to get their food, whatever their food shit is, and whatever noises they want to make over here, right, with their boyfriends and their crap, because now is the time for that, right? Just saying. Anyways, thanks God for clearing this out of us now, please. The best gifts, tools, love, energy, magic for all of us. Clear this out, but the best way to be from love and place this. Thank you again all for coming. We're getting a little crazy wild with this energy for tonight, but it makes for good humor, that's for sure. A little bit of Virgo sarcasm along with a touch of Saturn, it's Earth world too, and we're off. Okay, so tonight we're going to answer questions. We got some great wisdom for you. We have Sophia in the audience. We have Madeline. We have Mark. We have Jennifer with us and Rachel. And I'm in the process of putting on my rings. I got my tea. We're going to answer your questions, and then we're going to give you some really great wisdom for these times, what's going on, because I just ran into it this week, and it's like been a continuous conscious energy of what's going on across the board. So what would that be? Guidance, gifts, and tools, because like right now there are so many different energies and so many different toxics coming out of the people. So universe is guiding me to share with you tonight, let me see how I would say this. Thanks God for the best words, wisdom, wisest tools, best communication, gifts, talking, understanding, everything I need from love in the purest form in this reality, any reality, and all that is, and thank you God for that for us. Okay, so what's happening is darkness is coming out of people. This is really the battle of dark and light. So I'm going to give you some tools tonight, because here it is. You guys are ultimately super protected by love and light, as long as you're doing your best to do the right thing from love and be in your heart, right? In these times, all this shit is coming out of people. People that you thought were your friends are not your friends. Businesses that you thought were going to do the right thing, or you thought were doing the right thing in the past, are not, right? There's energy vampires, there is sirens, there's people sucking off of you, there's all these toxic relationships, because the energy of the world is being called, right? Again, this is Pluto and Capricorn. This is Pluto return. And now a gentleman who I just met, and this is no accident, right? On Twitter, he says to me, sends me a little link to Venus, Capricorn, Venus, Pluto, Capricorn, Mars conjunct in, not Capricorn, Venus, Pluto, Mars conjunct in Capricorn at 27 degrees, which is happening, I think, which already started, I think it goes to the 25th to the 6th of March. So that's going to bring in some more energy and challenges for all of us. It's going to be neat because it affects you personally and in your charts as well. So this Plutonian energy is bringing great transformation. We talked about how it was a schizophrenic energy energy that's coming in, and or you could think of it as an energy that is to get rid of the deepest, darkest stuff that isn't the God's honest truth in everything in the world and in ourselves, right? But it is a process, and Pluto is a generational planet, really, and it takes a long ass time to go through a sign, to go through a house. It takes a long ass time. I think it's as a general rule, it's about, is it 15 years about, Sophia? Do you know?
Pluto to go through a sign?
Yeah.
I feel like it might be more than that. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I think it depends on also, or the house, you know what I mean? So there, there's different signs in different houses depending on how much stuff you got going on that's personal to you in your chart, all your stuff basically. This Plutonian energy is really doing a number. It is the most powerful, right, planet out there, all right? And you have your heavy hitters. You have Saturn as well, right? That too. It goes hand in hand with Pluto, right? They just do different things in different ways. Pluto, most powerful for transformation, but they all go together and they all work together. So these times are really, really rough times, right? You're going to see and have, lots of really wild thoughts, things coming in, challenges with fears, mental illness, anxiety, stress, can't think, physical symptoms. So you're going to have all these things coming in with all the energies and all of the releases, time to acclimate. You'll be really tired, right? But also you're going to discover guided by universe and higher knowing and the protection that you have of the angels, as long as you're doing your best to be in your heart and have been, and you're on the path with love, and as long as you are in this space of your heart, you are going to be super protected. So universe is going to show you and tell you what you need to know that is toxic and unwell or not coming from truth of love, lies, right, or unwellnesses, right, as well, all of it. Truth of God from love, God's honest truth, right? You want to know what the God's honest truth is? You ask for it, right? So tonight I'm going to have two different stories to tell you in reference to this to help you guys understand how protected you are and why things happen in the way they do energetically, especially with this new energy. And it's not necessarily new energy, but these energy waves that are coming in at this time, everything is cycles, right? So it's cycles of energy, right? Like over and over, different types of cycles come in, guided by different aspects in the transit charts, and then they hit your chart and your cycles, just like they have moon cycles, right? Same kind of thing, right? All goes together. Everything that is God has cycles, habits, patterns, consciousnesses. So we are dealing with a lot of different energies on a personal level, both external, internal, all this stuff, right? So the best way to deal with this energy is to be guided by higher knowing. Go to God, go to love, go to wisdom. Thanks God. Ask and you shall receive. Thanks God for the God's honest truth. The best things I need to know today. Start creating your day. If you don't already, ask for the best day, no matter what, from love, right? From love in the purest form. Thank you God for that for us always, right? So this will help to create good things happening, like every morning at 8 o'clock in our space over at our other building, right? Every morning at 8 o'clock, right? They're or before or after, they're banging on the door, but it's always in the morning when I'm sitting there trying to have my coffee before we're getting our shit together, right? With my family, right? We're sitting there trying to have coffee, right? And they're knocking on the door, right? To get in, right? So every day to see if the roof is fucking leaking. And it's like, oh my God, it's like just about every day. Because this is one of our challenges in these times. Again, this is that Plutonian energy that I'm talking about, right? So universe says to me, oh, they're watching you. Well, I know they're watching me because who the fuck knocks on your door between 7 and 9 o'clock when there's no business hours on that particular door? Because that's our main office, right? If we're at the main office and it's not like it's a public building, but instead of going to our other two buildings where the store and the center is, right, on normal business hours, they're knocking on my door between 7 and 8:30, and they're like, or up to 9 or whatever their hours are at different times, right? And we're trying to have coffee, we're trying to get ready for the day, right? And they have no appointment, right? There's no boundaries here, so this is like a chronic thing. This is all part of these issues with this Plutonian shit. Everybody's stuff is coming out, all these challenges, people not doing the right thing, not being guided by love, not paying attention to boundaries, not doing the right thing in business, not making appointment times, right? So all of this crazy energy that's going on is God just answering my prayers, because they said to me the other day, universe said to me, oh, they're watching you because of everything that's going on. They're afraid. They're afraid because this has to do with the landlord here, me paying the rent, my business, and their ass, right? This is the truth of God, right? Because if they're not doing the right thing legally in Earthworld, then we have a problem, right? So the roof keeps on leaking incessantly, and in a whole bunch of our spaces, this has gone on for far too long, right? And this battle has been, basically, both metaphysical and physical, with God and love and light. But during this time, universe said to me, they said to me, there's a whole bunch more going to the story, but because I want to keep it short for this exact thing that needs to be said here, universe tells me, because this goes with the energy stuff, I'm telling you guys, pay attention to what the fuck is going on in your reality to the T, because it's telling you what works for you, what doesn't, why it does, what you should do, what's really happening, right? Just like I said to God, I'm like, okay, what's going on with these people? They tried to tell me, right? This is a really good part to go back to within this space, right? One of their people in their office decided to tell me that the problem is that I won't let them into our offices so they can fix the roof leak, right? And I'm like, hey, wait. Because I'm not somebody who's not going to tell you the God's honest truth. That's what I do and teach. And if I don't honor myself and do that guided by higher knowing, then I'm not really who I say I am. So of course, I'm going to tell this woman the truth. And I said to her, she said, Lynn, you're not letting us in the building, and this is a really big problem. When we have a leak, we let people in. I said, whoa. Because she's trying to put the bill on me as the reason the roof isn't fixed, right? That's what she's doing. Do you say? She's saying, you're not here, you won't let us in. But if you honored me by calling me, making sure you spoke with me on the phone, or, right? Spoke with me on the phone, or made sure I got an email or a text, right? Which is the right thing to do. Set up an appointment, right? Honor me, right? And I will honor you from love, right? Very simple. So she's trying to tell me, because they're trying to cover their ass. Truth of God. Because while she's talking to me on the phone, the universe is talking to me in the other ear. And they're like, Lynn, here's the truth about what's going on here, right? So as she's talking, she says to me, and it couldn't be more obvious, right? Telling me, that we're not there, and this is the truth, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, God, handle this now, please, from love. God, speak through me. God's honest truth from love. And I said to her, hey, the God's on. I said, you and I both know that that's not the God's honest truth here. I said, and I'm not going to sit here and discuss with you over and over about how we're not here and you need to get in and this is what the problem is, because that's not the problem. I said, and if I continue to discuss this, I said, I know that you don't understand my passion, because I'm a very passionate person, and you think that I'm yelling at you, but I'm not yelling at you. I am passionate about everything in my life and everything that I am. And I also get passionate when people don't do the right thing, right? And rightfully so. Rightfully so, right? If you come from love, we won't have this problem. And coming from love means doing the right fucking thing from what? Love. From love, right? So I didn't use any of these curse words, of course, because I asked God to speak through me, and I need to be professional, right? But if I needed to say the fuck word or whatever word I need to say, I will say it, because it needs to be said, and universe will speak through me if I ask that, right? And that I trust, if I ask God to speak through me, is what must be done. Okay, pretty neat shit, right? So I said to her, we need to not discuss this anymore, because that's not the God's honest truth. I said, and let's put all this over here, because we're not going to agree, and there's no sense in me getting excited or me getting passionate about this, because you're going to get upset and we're never going to come to agreement, because this is not acceptable, because this is not truth of God. And that's what I said to her. How many people speak like that to business people on the phone, right? I mean, really, right? So then what happens is, I said to her, why don't you just tell me what we need to do to get them in there? Can they be here in an hour? Can they be here in 15 minutes? I will do what we need to do to get them in so we can take care of this, right? It's very simple. So that we don't have to have these long-winded discussions about how you're going to try to convince me of the lies that you're telling me or the bullshit that you're telling me that I know is bullshit, because God is talking to me in my fucking ear all the fucking time. And even if you don't understand that, whoever it is, right? It's truth of God and love, right? Because I talk to God all the time. This is who we are. This is what we came here to do. This is how we're going to change the new world to love, right? By working with that love. And this is how we're going to be able to navigate this smooth kind of bullshit that's nasty as fucking hell, that tries to take advantage of us and isn't in alignment with truth of God or love. And I hate to say shit like this where I get all wild about it. Why would that happen? It wouldn't happen if they were doing the right thing from love. It just wouldn't happen, right? So as the energy changes, we get off the phone, right? The energy changes, and more of this kind of stuff continues, right? But what happens that day is, and into the future days after this, what happens is they keep continuing not to call, right? But after this phone call that I had, so there was something said in that energy, God speak through me now, please, that changed the tone of everything, as well as the energy work I did on myself. Because I said, hey, God, I really had enough of this crazy shit. I said, so what's going on in me? Why does the roof keep leaking? What's going on with this structure, right? And then I realized that this is the structure in my physical body. What is broken in my structure? Why is all the water pouring out of the fucking ceiling? And I'm like, holy shit, I know why that is. Why? Because I'm not allowing my emotions to flow in me. Your water is your emotions. This is all this stuff I've been working on healing, and there's another big chunk of this. And it proves to you or shows you what happens metaphysically, happens in the physical, right? Because my body is my structure of what my soul's vehicle, so to speak, or my soul in earth world, right? My physical body, right? There's an alignment here, earth world and metaphysical, right? Saturn and Pisces. So in my physical body, right, in my structure, and where's my structure? That's why I got these inflamed bones and this rheumatoid shit, right? Because that's my structure, right? That's my bones. Your bones, it's Capricorn, earth world, structure, right? And all this water is all the emotions, right? And I'm like, why the fuck is the roof leaking? All the fucking time. So I'm doing all this metaphysical work on me, and then the energy shifts. Okay, God, clear this out, change this, right? And I'm like, why do I have this problem with my emotions? All the emotions are raining down on me. That's what the water is, because I'm not allowing myself to feel for me. And what happens when I don't feel for me? Then I don't have the healthiest, best self-love, and my structure falls apart. It can't retain that energy of good health for only so long, or good things happening. So here's universe banging on my door again, or hit me in the back of the head with a 2x4, right? They're like, right here in my reality, the water is pouring out of the roof. Over and over and over and over and over and over, right? And then in my physical body, and when I ask God to heal me, when I ask God to change this, when I ask God everything I need to see in my chart, when I ask God to be free of this, when I ask God to be well, what do I need to see? What do I need to do? How do I need to be free of this? What do I need to stop this? God, please, God's honest truth. Show me, do this through me now, please, from love in the purest form, right? So I can get to these answers, because these cycles have been going on for far too long, right? And then, right, I'm in my car the other day, and I realized, right, because I'm like, fuck, I hated water forever, right? Hate water, right? Half my freaking sun sign is water. I got so much fucking water in me, it's crazy, right? In my astrology, it's crazy. So I realize I hate water, and I've been asking God the same questions all this time. Why do I hate water? Why do I hate water? Why can't I stand to drink water? Do you know why that is? Because I don't want to feel my emotions. I don't want to drink that shit up, right? Because your water is your emotion. So, and that's why in my physical body, it's buried in my physical structure. It's in my bones, the variations of the unwellness is, or where the energy has manifested to cause me unwell health, right? This is all part of that. Like, and then if you think about it with mold toxins, where am I being poisoned, right? Well, I'm thinking, oh, well, mold is in my house, and this is what set this all off, right? But really, metaphysically, when we think about this, right? And we think about the mold is poison. Those are poison toxins, right? And I sit down and I think about it. Where am I poisoning myself? Where am I not allowing me to feel for me, right? So I'm doing all this work on my soul. I'm asking God for the best placements to make me be free of this, right? Clear this, heal this, change this in my chart. And I worked on it for I don't know, I want to say, how long was it, Rachel? 2 hours, 3 hours? I was sitting in the shop and I was wilding. And then I realized that this goes back emotionally to my childhood, where all my emotions were stomped down by what I wanted to feel, right? Everything I wanted to feel, I wasn't allowed to feel, right? I didn't have a healthy relationship with my mom, right? So everything I wanted to do, it was like, no, do this, or that looks horrible on you. And every time I wanted to get excited about something, it couldn't happen because of the situations that went on in my relationship with my mom, right? So we had a toxic relationship when I was younger. And it's unique because my brother and sister both have a different relationship with our moms, which is really wild because different siblings have different energies and everything is about energy, right? So what was happening is I wasn't getting my what I needed emotionally when I was a child, right? My emotions were being stomped on and buried, right? I'm not allowed to do this and you can't do that and you look like shit in this and all this really tough stuff, right? I'm trying to think, I would tell you some more of the stories more in depth, but I don't want to keep it, I want to keep an alignment with so that it's not too long here on for tonight's show so we can get to your questions, right? So what happens is, I'll give you 2 examples when I was younger, right? I used to play when I was about 5 with these little China toys, right? These little China animals, and I had these little sets, and I had them on my dresser, and I used to love to play with them, right? And my mother had told me repeatedly not to play with them. But when you're 4 or 5, you do what you do because you're a kid and you don't think about that stuff. Well, I had them set up on the top of my dresser on this cotton, this whole cotton roll or a rug, right? And all the little animals, and like there's a little pond like that Department 56 like they have today, you know what I mean? That kind of shit. And when you're a kid, you play with that shit, right? So what happens is I'm playing with this. My mother loses her temper. She told me not to do it. She comes in the room. She grabs, right, the rug or the little cotton blanket underneath it all and pulls it and wings it around the room like that. And all the China families, all the little animals, what?
Oh my God.
Yeah. They fly all over the floor and they smash. And then she's wild now, right? Because my mom really wasn't in the healthiest space, especially back then, right? And she stomps all over them. And I'm 5 years old and I'm like, oh my God, freaking the fuck out, right? And I'm sure many of you have variations of these kinds of stories of super unwell relationships. But the truth is, all of this energy of me stomping out my emotions, and literally, here she is stomping on my stuff, breaking my heart. I'm a little kid, man, a little kid. And all of this happened so that I could get inside of this in these Plutonian times, to get into these energies in me that I have buried, that are making me physically sick, that are causing the fucking roof to leak, that make me hate water, right? Crazy shit, right? So, but all these things are designed to heal and assist me and help me. But the truth is, this isn't my mom's fault. This is because I chose to heal this when I came in. So I picked my family lineage. I picked these things. I chose these things. Not literally exactly, so to speak, in the way that we think in Earth world. I chose this because these things were the sicknesses and the unwellnesses going on in the energy in my soul, and I needed to heal that. My soul said, we're done with this shit. This is why I do the work I do. This is why I incessantly pray and talk to universe and do energy work, and I'm always talking to God and creating stuff, right? And this is why I do this work, right? Why? Because my soul came in here. It doesn't want to suffer anymore. It's fucking had enough. And that's why so many of us are here, done with this shit. This planet needs to be done with this shit, right? So we all come in, we have a soul destiny on a personal level as well as a earth world, whole conscious, collective job here to do or journey as well. So it was already predestined in my soul because I chose my destiny. I chose the things that I have a propensity to work on, all in your chart. There's 102 paths you can take, and then there's all these different branches on all of them. With free will, you can make all these different decisions on your journey of your soul's life life path on your personal level as well as your consciousness, right? So my soul came in here and chose my mother. So when everyone says, oh, what a horrible mother you have, and you couldn't have done that, and there were times in my life I definitely believed that, and I fucking hated my mother when I was a kid, and now after 20 years I asked to heal this relationship with my mom, and it's happening, and I'm really, really grateful. But I too must heal me from these experiences and these things and release this emotional energy that's buried. And if you think about it, what happened? What did she literally do? She took it and she wailed everything around, and my emotions went, oh, filled with fear, right? And then she stomped on all the things that I love. Ta-da! Now there's nothing left for me internally in my self-love space. How can I love me in the healthiest, best way? When I'm like little kid, right? And my processing is this, and I'm like, holy shit, because that's what your soul does. It's like a PTSD, really, right? If you think about it as an equivalent in Earth world, it's a PTSD. So when I'm doing all this energy work, all these stories like this one, all this shit comes out, and I realize that my emotions and my heart was crushed, and I wasn't allowed to do this, and I wasn't allowed to be me, and I wasn't allowed to express how I felt through those little animals, through those little creatures, through my childhood. She did the same thing to me with a fucking carved pumpkin and shit, stomping on the pumpkin, right? Because it didn't turn out right. Yeah, some crazy shit, and it was like walking on eggshells my whole childhood. Right? But I'm not mad at my mother, right? I've asked God to forgive her, because this is the process of these things, these journeys that we go on in our lives. These are the avenues of the places that we go to heal ourselves. We all have stories that are very, very painful, like this. They're not designed to make our lives terrible. My mom really isn't a bad person, but in fact, my mom too is broken, or was broken, and is healing these things in her, or was unwell, right? But what's happening now is we're purging all these energies, the emotional shit, right? But it couldn't be more obvious, right? Stomping down my emotions. That's what I do. Where's my emotions for me? I'm so busy taking care of everybody else, doing everything else. But what the fuck do I need? Where is my emotional love or my healthy heart space for me, right? And I realize God puts it all together. I'm talking to God all the whole time, right? Because this is what we do. And then all of this comes together. I'm clearing it. I'm healing it. I'm praying on it, changing it, working on it energetically, right? Everything that I teach here, everything that I do and live and eat and breathe and sleep, right? I'm doing it, right? So this is these times. Everything is going to tell you the truth. And then what happens is I feel the energy in the shift, right? Because this is $1 billion company here that has the rents to my spaces, and I've gone head to head with them 3 times at least now, right? And basically I said, if you do the right thing, you won't have a problem with me, but the right thing keeps not getting done. And when that energy shifted after doing all that energy work and coming to the realization, I sat in the shop and probably cried next to Rachel, sitting next to Rachel. She was in there too as I'm doing all this energy work, and I'm like, God, what about this? God, what about that, right? And then I'm sitting there and I'm crying. And I'm releasing all of these emotions. And then I feel a shift. And all of a sudden, the universe says to me, they're afraid of you now. So when we shift the energy in our souls and release this pain, this emotional stuff, and all the stuff that we're doing right now, some of the heaviest, hurtful, painful shit, man. I sat in that shop and I cried for like 20 minutes. You got to get it out, right? This is hugely profound, because why did it have to go down like that? Because water is your emotional energy. Emotion is the creator of everything. It's your feelings, right? It's the water that I can't drink. It's the water falling from the sky, right? Washing us off with our emotions. Washing our emotions, right? Clearing the energy. That said, the shift happens, and their energy is then different to me, right? And universe says to me, right, after that shift, they said to me, well, now they're afraid. And this is $1 billion company, but I'm not trying to blackmail anybody. I'm not lying to anybody. I'm not being shitty to anybody. I'm doing what I do and teach. I want what is best from self-love for me, my business, my people, from love in the purest form. That's all I'm asking for. If the whole world would be in the space, none of this bullshit would be happening. People would get the roof fixed. People would do the right thing. People wouldn't be lying. People wouldn't be trying to say that I'm not there and that's why this is happening. Meanwhile, the roof has been fucking leaking over the whole time I've been here, which is almost 5 fucking years. Come on now. Come on now. I never let you in for 5 fucking years. Let's get real. People come into the shop every day and you can't get in to fix it. Come on now. Right? But there's 2 different, in their defense, there's 2 different places. Actually there's really been 3 different spaces and all of them have leaks. Some are more prominent than others. But this is about, them not telling the truth, flipping the buck, meaning the God's honest truth, based on their business code of ethics, which is toxic. And this is what we're looking at in the world today. Honest to God. This is the shit we're looking at. And it's so smooth and they're so subtle. But when I ask God to speak through me and love to speak through me and handle it, I know their bullshit can't fly by me. Fuck them. Fuck them. God's honest truth. Because this is the truth of God. If you're not doing the right thing from love, and people say, oh, Lynn, you shouldn't talk like that and you shouldn't curse people. Hell yeah. Because I didn't go for their throats. They didn't honor mine. And that's what the healthiest space of self-love does. It does not allow any bullshit for you. So if you don't return my call, if you don't honor me, if you don't come from love, if you don't fix the roof over and over and over and over, how many times boundaries is enough? Right? How much? And that's what I said to their regional property manager person thing. All right? That's what I said to her. I said, how much of this energy of this leaking, how long? She says, let me fix it for you, Lynn. Let me fix it. How many times? How many calls? How many emails? How long? How much longer does this have to go on before I have to do something else? I said to her. Everything is energy. Why can't you just put a new roof on the place? You're building billion-dollar properties all over Virginia Beach. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Really? Truth of God or love, right? All right. So universe says to me, well, they're spying on you. They're watching what you're doing. And of course they are. How would they know that I'm there at the building, one of our 3 buildings at between 7 and 9 or 10 a.m., right? In that space, right? Why can't they come to us in normal business hours like normal people do in our main space, right? And why can't you make an appointment? Because we've missed tons of appointments. This costs me a load of money. I have to redo the carpeting, the walls. All this shit has to be done now. And this has been a massive expense. And I said to them, who pays for this? And she tries to tell me that I do and my insurance does. And I said, that doesn't feel right to me, right? So I'm talking to God the whole time, right? Because God's going to tell me the God's honest truth, just like when they said they're watching me. Why would they be watching me? Why? Anyone know? They're watching me because they're trying to pull some shit to try to make themselves look better so they don't get in trouble legally with all their bullshit and their 50,000 page lease of all the things that I shouldn't be doing and should be doing when they're not even fucking doing the right thing. Because why? Because they're a big company and they think they can get away with it, or whatever their fucking shit is. Doesn't even matter. It's a reflection of the toxic energy in this earth world. It's crazy shit. But at the same time, it's personal to me in the metaphysical. Incredible shit, right? I changed me. I work on me. And sometimes these demons like this one was rough. It was hard to get to the bottom of all this shit with God or love. Talking to God all the time, because that's the best way. Yeah, I could go to a counselor in Earth World and get medicine. Sure, right? But that isn't going to fix the problem. And then these problems or these cycles are going to continue to happen because I didn't stop it. I didn't talk to God, or I didn't know how to do it. You see what I'm saying? Or I couldn't pinpoint it, right? This is how things truly work in these times, especially more than ever, because the vibration of the planet is rising, right? And as that happens, all this love energy is going to change the planet. And this is what's happening, right? But it's going to take some time. It's going to be challenging, right? Right now, all right, dark and light is in a wild chess game right now in the world, with all of this stuff with Vladimir Putin and the toxic American government and the toxic world government, right? And forces of dark and light are not in the way that you think, and the propaganda and the lies and the fucked upness. Yeah, you want to know the God's honest truth? And I posted a bunch of shit on my site, right? On my internet stuff, right? But it's up to you to ask God what the God's honest truth is, and what do you feel? Because they're selling you guys a load of lies. And just like what happened to me here and what I'm going through here with the roof leaking and the smoothness and the lies, right? That's what the propaganda is doing, right? They're telling you this, they're telling you that. You really think Joe Biden is the fucking president? Jesus Christ in heaven, save us all. Save us all. Same thing. Same thing. If you think Vladimir Putin is the bad guy, save us all. Because this is about a world of illusion. dissolutions. This is Pisces and Neptune. Start researching this shit, man. It's fucking insane, right? Talk to God. Ask universe to lead you to all the answers. The God's honest truth of everything, and it will come. Right? You want to hear God talk to you like I talk to Jennifer or Rachel or you guys here? Ask for that. Ask to understand it. Ask to know that. It's your highest heart self and your connection to God. It's your guides, right? Who are your guides, right? You have all the power. Ask and you shall receive. Thanks, love, for this for all of us. From love in the purest form. In this reality, any reality, and all that is. And thank you, God, for that for us infinitely and always. Right? Okay, so that said, this is just the crazy shit that's happening. Just the other day, same kind of thing happened. I call up, I go to get my Jeep an oil change. What happens here? And I'm going to make this one short. Thank you, God, for that for us, right? And in the best way, direct and to the point, right? I tell the guy my Jeep smells like antifreeze. It's a great Jeep. I keep it really great. It's a 2014, right? I take care of it. I love it. I love it. You know, it's one of my favorite things that I love in Earth World, right? And that's the whole essence of Earth World, too, is to enjoy the nice things that you have from love, right? Yeah, not a greed, toxic, unwell space, right? There's such a thing as like a positive greed, right? But this isn't what that's about. Really, it's about allowing yourself to have nice things, self-love, right? So anyways, back to this Jeep. I have this Jeep. I love this Jeep. I got to get an oil change, and that's what I do. So the other day, I call up, my sister gets me an oil change. We all work together. Everybody's taking different responsibilities in these times because this time is moving so fast, and there's not enough time in the day, okay? And so what happens is I go to take my Jeep there. I said to him, it smells like antifreeze. They said to me, it's going to be about $100 for the diagnostic test along with the oil change. I said, okay. And I had been feeling for a while that they've been kind of taking advantage of me, and I didn't like it. This has gone on, excuse me, on and off for months, right? So I bring the Jeep there. The guy calls me up. He does that test. He calls me back, and he tells me that I need a $1,200 radiator in my Jeep. And meanwhile, it only has about 48,000 miles on it. It's a 2014. It's in really great shape, you know, and it's not something that I beat the hell out of, right? But I'm not saying that that can't happen, right? But usually when you need a radiator with these electronic vehicles, you know, they have all these bells and whistles. In fact, the Jeep can tell you what the tire pressure is and that it's low and you need to take care of this, right? It does all this funky shit electronically, right? And even the newer cars more today do that, right? So you would think that there might be something in there to tell me that that radiator is overheating or has a problem, right? You would think that, right? So that already doesn't feel right to me in Earth World traditionally, right? Even though new cars work different from old cars, right? But I'm feeling all this shit in the energy. And this is why I'm telling you guys this. This is to protect you and make you aware in these times to pay attention to what's really going on, right? Because it gets better. It gets better. So what happens is, they do the diagnostic and tell me it needs $1,200 worth of work. Then I said, well, I can't afford that, right? And it just came out of my mouth, right? Because sometimes you have to speak to people in a language that they understand. Now, whether that's truth according to the real truth of my finances and stuff, because I know that God brings me whatever I need and we are abundant forever, truly, if we work on our stuff and work with God in love. This is truth of God, right? So that said, but it doesn't mean I don't have things to work on, right? So these words come out of my mouth. And this happens because I ask God to speak through me. I ask God to handle it. So when that guy calls me on the phone, God is already speaking through me. So that's what comes out of my mouth. He says, oh, I can't afford that. I said, well, do you have any payment plans or anything? He says, yes, we have a payment plan. So miraculously, he gives me the number, a link to the payment plan, because this is how shady and slick the businesses are doing it these days. The payment plan comes back. It's $1,500. I get approved for like $1,550, and then I go on there, but you can't get the credit without a debit card. I'm like, fuck. I had too many arguments with the bank in the past because there's all kinds of crazy chaos going on right in these times, and so I don't have a debit card. And I said, well, can't you just use my checking account? And they're like, no, you can only get this credit if you use your debit card. And I'm like, okay, well then I'm not getting that, right? That's it, right? Ask God to speak through me. So everything I'm doing is guided by higher power. And this is what I'm supposed to say. Love speaks through me, right? So that happens. I get off the phone. Now I had been approved, but the last thing was to give them my debit card number, which I didn't do, right? And in 5 minutes, guy calls me up and he says, we see that you're approved for $15.50 in credit. Shall we do the job? And I'm like, wow. This is a loan company that's affiliated with them, and they got this process down, and it's pretty fucking slick. Slick as hell. And I get that it can help people, with an interest rate of like $1 million bucks in a time, with all this with people, and they're trying to make money. I get that, but there's a healthy space of God that will bring you far more abundance, way more infinitely, if you do the right fucking thing from love. And this is what's not happening in the world. So they're fucking trying to take advantage of me, and I'm feeling it hard. 3 or 4 times now, universe is showing me. Because why? Because it doesn't feel right to begin with. I've been feeling that they weren't right and they were a little shady, right? And then the way everything went down, and it was too smooth. Too smooth, right? And then when I went to get the credit, and this is why we're all so blessed, and I'm so blessed, because I said, God, handle this now, please, with every fucking phone call. God, speak through me now, please. So I'm going to say exactly what is the right thing in that moment. And as I am in alignment with God and love for whatever is best to happen for me. Wicked cool stuff, huh? Incredible stuff. Incredible. So what happens now is the guy says to me, so you're going to do it? And I go, no. I said, no. I said, you don't have a debit card. You have to take a debit card. He goes, but you were approved. I said, I know. I said, I know, but I can't do it. They wouldn't let me do it. And I said, so just do the oil change. And I got off the phone, right? And then later on, because I'm a little bit wilding about this, do the oil change. And then I'm sitting there and I'm explaining the situation not far long after. Meanwhile, they're doing the oil change in my car. Right? And I'm sitting there telling the story to somebody I work with, and I'm like, this is fucked up. Listen to this, right? And it doesn't feel right. And I'm sitting there telling the story, and an angel is whispering in my ear, and they're telling me that it's the radiator cap. And I'm like, motherfucker. And I wasn't really asking. I just thought, on a conscious level, I wonder what the hell is going on here. And then universe said to me, and I said, I wonder why this is happening, And then that's what they said. They said it's the radiator cap, and that the seal on the radiator cap is no good, right? And they said, go to Pep Boys, go to the or a local auto parts place, get a new radiator cap, and that'll alleviate the problem, right? So a $5.50 radiator cap, and then I went to them. Right? And to go pick up my car later, and I said, hey, how much are how much is a part called a radiator cap? I said, how much are they? I didn't tell him anything yet, right? I didn't tell him anything about it. And he said they were $42.50 when I can get it at the other space over here for $5.50, which I totally understand, which is wiser according to what I needed from God and guided by God to get, right? And I get that they have markups, not a problem. The problem that I have is their integrity, their honor, their respect, and they're toxic and taking advantage of people in this day and time. I had a veterinarian the other day, same kind of issue with it, deliberately not giving me the right amount of medicine because she felt my dog was sicker than I knew that it was. And I said to her, hey, and I'm metaphysical, I'm a medical intuitive, and I know what's wrong with my dog, but she's so busy focusing on the cancer growths in the dog's mouth and how she needs to put the dog down that she deliberately, and I thought she looked like a court jester and that she was like laughing and shit. I was like, what the fuck, what the fuck is wrong with her energy, I'm thinking. And she says, okay, Miss MacDonald, we'll do everything that you want, right, for your dog. I agree with you, right? But she didn't give me the right medicine, and I sat back at the shop and I'm like, why? And God said to me, hey, you need to double that dose, right? And I'm like, okay. So I double it because this is what I do, man. This is what the fuck I do. She doesn't know that. So then universe said to me, she deliberately did that with the medicine because she wanted to put the dog down because she felt the dog was in pain and needed to be put down. But that's not the truth of God. I talk to God all the time. And even if she doesn't understand me or that, and she thinks that she knows better, then she needs to talk to me about it and tell me how she feels and needs to be direct and honest and not play bullshit games and lie and manipulate people because she's the fucking doctor and she thinks she knows what is right. This is crazy. Crazy shit. And I get not everybody is like me. All right. I understand that I'm a little eccentric, just a little. Okay. All right. I totally get that. Right. However, I'm telling you this because I almost lost my dog because she didn't give me the right medicine. God told me to double it. The dog is better and doing fantastic. Right. But if I listened to her, I would have brought the dog back to the emergency room in a normal or earth world people space. Most people would have brought that dog back. And then she would have put it down because that's what she felt was right. Yeah. It's crazy shit. But I'm talking to God the whole time, and that's what universe told me. So I don't make this shit up. They literally said to me, she didn't give you the right dose. That's the wrong dose. And then later on, like an hour later, I'm like, well, why would she do that? I give it to the dog. The dog starts to eat again. It had been profusely vomiting, shitting blood, which had nothing to do with the cancer, because I've been treating the cancer for 2 fucking years holistically, God, with energy work and God, right? And the dog has a fantastic life. And if it was time for the dog to go, universe would have told me, the dog would have told me, because we talk all the time, right? But this is the toxic that's going on. Why? Because she's the doctor. She knows better. She doesn't want to really deal with it. She doesn't want to have an argument with me or whatever her shit is. This is the shit that's going on. And the truth is, this makes it so hard for you to trust, because the darkness has infiltrated everything. I shit you not, right? So it's up to you to work with God or love as much as possible, whether it's your angels, like I have particular guides. I have this medical intuitive guide we call Edna, right? Her name is Edna. And this goes back to fucking like Confucius times and before. And every time when she talks to me medically intuitively and gives me wisdom, right? If I don't listen to her, she kicks me in the leg, right? It's crazy shit, right? We all have guides, right? I work with Christ. I work with Edgar Casey. I work with Edna, right? These are all super powerful healing energies. Christ in heaven. We have these guides, and we have the angels, and we have many, many more guides and animal guides. This is all part of our metaphysical team. So if you feel like you talk to angels all the time, or you talk to Christ all the time, or you talk to Edna, right? Whoever it is that you identify with, right? That is your connection, right? From love. And it could be God overall, because it is all God. It is all love, right? This is what behooves us. You don't have to do any of this, really, right? But with free will, it's always wisest to work, right, with wisdom or of the love of God, or love that is God, that is all that is, because that's where your best answers are always. So the reason I'm telling you these stories is because the only way you're going to be able to navigate this kind of darkness and get your best outcome, because look, think about this. I almost lost my dog, right? They almost charged me $1,200 more for my Jeep. And then they sent me a text saying, oh, Miss MacDonald, how was your service? And I'm like, really? I'm like, you really want to know how my service was? And I sent him a text. And I said, hey, you know what? I'm disappointed in this. And I told him exactly why. Because there's no honor, there's no integrity, and now there's no responsibility, there's no respect, there's no love, and there's absolutely no trust now. And, I've been coming there for years, and this is the world we live in, right? You can have different people come in or whatever, but this is what's really going on, right? So I sent him that text, guided by God and higher knowing. I said, God, should I send this text? And it didn't curse, but it was very direct and to the point. Just like when I said to that secretary or the woman who's in charge of the property here, and I said to her, we both know that's not the God's honest truth. We both know that's not truth of God, right? When you start talking this shit to people too, the way that I speak or God speaks through me, man, it scares the living shit out of them. It's way worse or way more powerful than cursing at people, believe it or not, right? Way more powerful, because it makes them go, ugh, right? It's designed to do that. It's designed to do that. If they have any respect at all for higher power, God, love, energy, being, right? That they know that the wrath of God from lifetimes is a super powerful thing, and it is not something that you want to fuck with. That's why it makes it so powerful. When universe speaks through me and I say, hey man, this is not the truth of God. And then I've had arguments with people or run-ins with people who get really crazy. And I'm like, hey, man, the wrath of God is coming for you, so get ready for it. I did that once, man, with a little girl. When I was walking my dog, man, she's like smacking the shit out of her kid when they came out of some kind of party, and I yelled at her. I'm walking my dog. I said, you need to stop that. She yells at me, don't you tell me what to do with your kid, with my kid. And I was like, the wrath of God is coming for you. I was so wild, right? She's yelling at me, and I'm like, you need to stop that shit, man. Crazy world, okay? So these are some of those experiences. So why did I do that? You ask love to speak through you. You ask love to handle it, and you trust that what you are doing is truth of God and in alignment with this energy. And you will say things that you wouldn't normally say and handle situations that you wouldn't normally handle in that way. But the coolest shit is that God or love knows what's best for you. You're super protected by the angels, by all that is God and love. The more you're in alignment with your heart and doing the right thing, the more the energy will flow. It doesn't mean you won't have challenges. You will, because you're here to bring people to God, quite honestly. That's why you're here. When you teach love, people show up at your door for enlightenment because they're sick, because they're not well, because they want to be free of this unwellness. So anything that comes in there is all in alignment. Meaning all this energy that comes in and comes into your life, right? When you're a high energy, love energy being, as you keep going, this is all part of the work that we're doing here to change the planet, right? What it is basically forcing people to do the right thing from love. And when I say forcing, it isn't really force in the earth world way that you would think. It just shows them by working with love within themselves, a reflection of themselves, right? Of the deficit in love energy in the things that they were doing, right? Are doing, right? And in this space of love energy in God's earth world, Saturn, all right? And in all higher knowing of love, you have to be responsible. You have to do the right thing, right? And when I say the right thing, it's not necessarily the right thing in earth world. It's according to law of universe of love in the purest form. All that is love, right? As well as in alignment in earth world in this dimension with Saturn, honor, respect, character, integrity, love, doing the right fucking thing from love, right? If you're in alignment with that, you have all this amazing power, including the power to bring the wrath of God to other people, right? But the only time you'll know when that is, when to use it. Right? When to use these powers. And on subconscious levels, all of these things were about bringing the wrath of God to these people because their soul called it in. When you don't honor and respect somebody, get ready because the shitstorm is coming for you. Because this is the new world and you can't trust this shady, smooth darkness that has infiltrated everything. And everybody's thinking, yes, definitely send your prayers out to Ukraine. The people of Ukraine. But let me tell you, there is layers of darkness and shit going on all over the world, and it couldn't be more apparent by how everything has changed in the last 3 years. Do you think that's an accident? There's just too many earth world signs here, from the COVID shot to the testing, to the takeover of the government, to Joe Biden really not having a mind, not being able to speak, having no backbone, right? And the school systems teaching hate, the Black Lives Matter violence and all that shit. Because truth of God is that everybody loves each other and respects each other from the best place of love, and that shit doesn't happen. That's why we're here. All these things tell you the truth about what's really going on. That this, social media stuff, all the posts there, people hating, all this crap, all these businesses, all the things that have gone on for years, right? Darkness is trying to infiltrate the planet. And here we are at the crossroads of the next revolution, and it's here. It's here, and it's big shit. But you got all the tools. And this very well is the simplest, easiest, best way out there. Is always to work with love and be in your heart as much as possible, right? All the time, okay? Those are your tools. So that's why I'm telling you this, because this is profound wisdom for everybody. In these times. And if you don't know and something's shady, Earthworld will show you, right? And meanwhile, they're pumping it up, just like the collusion with Donald Trump when him and Vladimir Putin were talking, right? All these lies they're selling you to get you off the main course. Meanwhile, something over here is going on that's shady. Meanwhile, you're not getting the whole truth, right? Over here, right? There's so much stuff going on that is going on that isn't truth of God all over the place. All over the place, that's telling you the God's honest truth, that this is the battle of dark and light, whether you realize it or not. And there is great propensity for people to step up that you would never dream would be the people to step up and do what it takes from love. Right? Because the whole world is lacking a huge, massive space of self-love and being in their hearts. And if they weren't, more and more people would have a backbone. They would stand up, and this wouldn't be going down like this because it wouldn't be allowed from self-love and working with love in the purest form. All right. So that said, I'm going to move on to our questions. Thank you for listening to this higher wisdom and guidance from universe. May it have brought you many blessings and wisdom, and may you all have these gifts from love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that is. And thank you, God, for that, for us, in the healthiest, best way. From love. Okay, so thank you everybody for your patience with my long-windedness. Thank you though. Okay, so What are our questions? Jen, do you have questions?
Yes, I got one from last week that I wanted to just get to. Mayan Milner.
Hi, Mayan, if you're here.
She's looking for insights on her immediate future, and she did give her birthday as 9/3.
Okay. All right, Virgo. 20th to the 30th, 31st. So it goes Virgo. She's a Virgo Capricorn. I'm just talking universe. All right. So Mayan is looking for what's the best avenues for her future.
Yeah, I think she's looking for a read for the year to come as well.
Okay, God, what's the God's honest truth for Mayan? She comes in in her sun sign as a Virgo with a Capricorn decan, I believe. So she's got a lot of Capricorn energy and the gift of knowing the right thing in its healthiest spaces and having honor, respect, good character, a great work ethic you have, Mayan. I'm sure you know these things. If you don't by now, that's okay. Now you know. Okay, so that said, you're a super powerful healer. Virgo is a really, it's your house of health. It is super, it is healthiest space. It can be super gifted. It's great at organizing. It's great working with money, right? And if you haven't tapped into these things, then by all means ask God that you do, right? Ask God for everything you need to be able to do this. So in your Virgo space, they're telling me it's time for you to go through different avenues for your healing journey, right? And they're telling me about products, right? I've talked to you before. We've worked together. I know that you do stuff with products, right? What's interesting is I feel like you have the propensity to really start, you already travel now. I feel like you're going to morph your traveling into going to different areas around the world and looking for super unique, amazing healing gifts, tools, wisdom all over the world coming into the future, as well as sharing these items with people all over the world, meaning from all over the world. There's different cultures, just like, astrology, numerology, Buddhism, what are some other religions and stuff? Different religions, different cultures, sharing unique and amazing things. And I feel like you're going to do something where you're going to morph it, including food, right? Food from different cultures and products and healing modalities. I feel like you're going to come up with some really, really unique and amazing high-end gifts. High-end meaning high-end God, right? Not meaning necessarily super expensive, right? Super incredible stuff. I do feel there's going to be some traveling with this, going, like I said, going all over the world. Remember, everything in God's time. I do feel like you'll be here too. You'll be working with this stuff. You'll be just like everybody else, finding out the truth in you, and finding out the truth in other people, getting rid of or being free of people who are toxic to you, or knowing their toxicity, so that, in some cases, you kind of have to work with like things like the banks, right? Even though we know that they're toxic and there's a propensity, for battles within these spaces, right? If we're going to participate in Earth world, we want to have the least amount of time that we spend at the bank, right? In the healthiest, best way, just in case, right? The financial market collapses, right? And then all these other implementations of toxic, as we're playing this world chess game on a high-end level as well as a personal level. But this is the start of your new destiny, Mayan. So great things are going to happen for you. Keep looking into your healing journey for healing you. These things all are coming in for you. This is guidance. This is all the stuff that they're telling me. Keep looking and working with love for these answers, right? I do feel like this is all going to profoundly manifest as quick as in the next 2 to 3 years. I feel you're already working on these things. You're figuring out who's the person for you, who's not, what works for you. And Virgo is the perfectionist, the super perfectionist, Virgo and Capricorn of the zodiac. So just a little variations of different ways. So I feel like you're really going to perfect these healing gifts. You're going to be great at what you do. New healing is going to come in. You are going to travel. I also see you healing things from the past in relationships as well. The traveling's going to come as it's all going to be in alignment with what's happening in the whole collective, as different things happen out here, because just like the COVID, vaccination cards and the tests, right? All of that stuff is going to go by the wayside in time, just like the old world saying from God, this too shall pass, right? And everything changes. The nature of God is that everything changes constantly, all the time. As you grow and shift, all these doorways will open up and all of us will be able to travel again around the world. But there is, right now, it's kind of like, wait for it. There's a lot of healing that I feel like you're working on. We're all working on this healing. We're all working on these releases. We're all very, very tired as well. We'll go through phases of this as well. Many of us will be feeling energy shifts, like, as the events come in. We talked about the 3 cataclysmic events, so to speak, with the Pluto return, one of them is this what's going on with Vladimir Putin. It is the start of basically, I want to call it, they keep telling me call it the revolution, okay? The revolution of the planet, so to speak. Different things will be happening, but this is the start of all of our new destinies from love, right? Doesn't mean there won't be challenges. Different things that happen here will change the course of our reality. And just like when I say cataclysmic events, people will be like, well, why didn't the World Trade Center happen, right? Because what the Chinese dark government and the dark government that has paid everybody off all worldwide, right? The reason you won't have, or you're less likely to have a cataclysmic event like them blowing up the Pentagon or the World Trade Center is because when shit like that happens in America and all over the world, it brings people together from love, and love is all the power. So they can't do it in a way that's going to bring in love. So they're wiser than that, because that's how smooth the darkness is. So don't look for stuff like that necessarily. If you find stuff like that and it does manifest, all right, there's going to be other reasons tied into it for why that would happen, because the more the people come together from love, the less power the darkness has. Just like the lions who hunt out here and go after the zebra, right? What do? They strategically place themselves in different areas, and they got it to a T, and they're so smooth, right? And they break up the zebra herd, just like they're breaking up the people in America, right? Because that's part of their grand plan. Have the people separate them, pick them off one at a time, just like the lions pick off the zebra, right? Same thing. It's the nature of God, right? Power of God, right? Shows you exactly what's happening right here in our reality all the time. Discord, toxic, delusional thinking, right? This is all of that. So all of this stuff that's going on, right, is all going to play a part in everything in our destinies. While we may be going down one destiny, it's going to shift depending on what happens in the collective and how it triggers the things in our charts and in our souls, along with all the energies in the now of the transit chart and everything that is God, that is us, and everything that is happening in the world, right? So you are working on this stuff, I feel, at home right now. You're siphoning out these energies, trying to figure out what to do and what it is that you love, right? One of these books that we started doing in our class here is a book that my daughter Sophia bought for her friend Molly. It was 3001 questions about ourselves, because the better we know ourselves, the more our destiny we can figure out our destiny and what we love, right? So this is a great book that I recommend to you, Mayan, and everybody, to help you get clear with what brings you joy. What is it that you love? Do you like to travel? Do you like to eat? Do you like spirituality? Do you like to counsel people? Do you like to do beautiful things? Because I feel like, Mayan, you will have a shop, you will have a center in time, and you will travel all over the world, right? And it may be that you travel and do this, but it feels like it's going to be your own. There may be a man partner who comes in within the next 5 to 8 years, but it won't, if it comes before then meaning before you get in a healthier space of you in alignment with the releasing of this energy in these times, like everybody is doing with this Pluto energy, it then you'll bring in another person to help you heal these energies. However, there is a partner coming for you, and I feel like they will be a really good help, support system, and really basically the new love of your life. So there's a lot of exciting things coming, but it won't be without work. It won't be with challenges. It won't be without hard times. And it just like with the shit I'm going through, and I've had to let some friends go, some people I thought were my friends, right? Some are easier than others. Honest to God, right? The more toxic they become, I'm like, whoa, thank God, Other times you're just like, you cry, you fucking cry because you love them. And so, but this is all part of the process for us to release our feelings, get in touch with our feelings, heal our heart. So as you go down this path, these amazing avenues are going to come in. You're going to public speak, you're going to write, but get that 3001 questions book, and because it will help you to release. Like one of the questions we learned at this last class was, what was your first pair of shoes, right? It'll help you release feelings and emotions and energy from that time. When you go through the book and you reach into your soul and you write these questions out from love, and you can also pray on it to release that stuff, right? Heal it, change it, and ask love for the answers as well if you don't know what they are. But this will help you get in touch with who am I on? Really is, because everybody on this fucking show, everybody I meet, everybody in the world has no idea really who they truly are in their hearts or what they really truly love, because they're in a deficit of their self-love space, right? A lot of people know, and they think, it's about money and it's about wonderful things, right? That's why there's so many people who love Elon Musk. Why? Because they value the dollar. That's what I love. That's the greatest thing on the planet, and that's not really truth of God. Money is energy, right? But it gives you a window, just like all the people who love, Hollywood or the Jenners or the Kardashians, right? This is superficial fucking bullshit. Be honest. Let's be honest. What is it that you value? Because what you do and your actions tell you the truth about you. But this book will help to get you, right? And any book kind of like this. But this is a great one because 3001 questions. It's going to help you get in your heart for you. Release stuff that you can't normally, let's say you might not normally bring in for your best release. And it's going to get to the bottom of the shit. And it's working with your chart, working with the God energy, working in these times. So you answer these questions and you release them. We actually have a class where we're doing this if you guys want to call in. It's $25. For like minimum an hour. We usually go an hour and a half, 2 hours. You should ask Debbie Akers. She's always there with us. she knows how long we end up going, but it doesn't increase the price. It's all guided by higher knowing. But again, you can all do it yourselves, and you can work with us here as well. Do the spiritual work. Ask and you shall receive. Free yourself from these energies. Like release the emotions. Feel it, heal it, clear it, process it. Free yourself from it. Thank you, God, for that for us, and put the best way to be from love. So this comes in for you to facilitate your healing, right? Also the chart work, right? Not everybody's going to connect with these things, but your real life reality is your biggest profound teller of the shit you need to work on in this reality. When your roof is collapsing on you and the water is falling on your head, literally, if you don't get it, that you have some emotional work to do that for you, and I'm one of those hard learners, man. I am, totally. That's how I got God, man, through great pain and suffering, right? And this is why I do the work I do, because I don't want that shit for you. If you work consciously with God and love all the time and do these things, man, it's a fucking cakewalk compared to anything else out there, really. That's why Jesus did this formula. Ask and you shall receive. It's amazing shit. All the magic of Harry Potter or love or God. You got it. Simple. Simple, 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 simple. And all the tools of God you use if you so feel called to. And absolutely so. But your reality will show you where you have your greatest deficits as well. You have tons and tons of tools. Messages from God, gifts, tools, whether it's numerology, angel cards, books like this, right? But I tell people all the time, I don't really give a fuck how many spiritual books you read. You can be brilliant spiritually, and I know plenty of people who are. But they don't get it at all. Because the best teacher is living it, being it, doing it, being in your heart. And your greatest rewards will come from there. Do you see? All right, so these are the avenues I'm being guided to tell you from higher knowing and love, and this is what some of the great stuff that's coming. The more you do the work, the more it facilitates into super amazing and great things for you, and that's for all of us. Again, this is some of the hardest stuff that we've had to go through in these times. We're right at the edge of amazing, 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 all the things that we dreamed of happening, meaning, stepping into our new destiny and the things that we've asked God for coming to fruition. But in these times, these are challenging times. So it's not going to be without hard work like never before. Like in my chart, they're like, you're going to work harder than you ever have worked before, Lynn. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, how much harder do I got to work, God? I have 29 degrees Capricorn in my second fucking house. I have Saturn in my subconscious chart in my sixth house, right? My father, my whole governing guide in my fucking chart is like Saturn, and Saturn is your workaholic, right? And I'm like, how much harder could a Capricorn have to fucking work, right? They have the most incredible work ethics, right? Out of all the zodiac, right? But it's not necessarily that I have to work more. It means the challenges are going to be far more difficult and different than they were before as we transition from the old world to the new world. And now, I think I'm starting to get that. So I get it, man. My journey is your journey in some variation, So there's some great tools for everybody here across the board with all of this, right? And the more you work with God, the more easier it is. You want it to be easy, ask love for that. Ask love for all the tools that you need. Easiest in the healthiest, best way. Not because you're a lazy ass and don't want to do it. Because those are two different things, right? This is truth of God, right? There's positive and healthy in everything and unwell in everything as well. And the key here is to purge yourself of all the things that don't work for you in unwellness and be in love and work with love all the time, starting first for you. And all the other things fall into place in the healthiest, best way. Not a selfish, toxic ego like people talk about and shit like that. The healthiest space of you from love. Thanks, God, for that for all of us. From love in the purest form. In this reality, any reality and all that isn't. Thank you, God, for that for us. Being authentic, right? Key word in these times, authentic. All right, so who's next?
Teresa Courtney Lloyd. She says that she's felt a strong presence for a couple of weeks, running up behind her, watching her, standing near her. She'd like to know who it is, even if there's more than one, and if they have any messages for her.
Teresa, we've talked. Please, when I ask her these questions, does she write that she's writing it in notebooks?
Not that I've seen. She hasn't mentioned it.
All right. So, because they've been guiding me too for a while about you writing stuff in notebooks. Because there's something about the different connections of different things happening that are going to guide you to really amazing wisdom. Along with this, we talked about the Christ energy, right? And you connecting with that. I'm wondering if that has happened for you. I feel like it hasn't. But I also feel like you're not really doing it in the way that they're guiding me to tell you. So if you want to do it that way, ask God or love that you can, and you do. This will facilitate this even more, as well as these gifts where you say, I don't know really who's in my kitchen, but you will know. And I feel like it's a grandmother energy. It feels like a more rounder grandmother energy, not necessarily fat, so to speak, but just like, how old world grandmothers have some weight on. I feel like she has a dress on and she has hair that's like, how would you do it? Like short like this, and it kind of goes like that. Like, you know what I mean? So trying to show you in a visual, right? Through me. Crazy shit, right? Let's see. So let me just see here. It's funny because she's showing me walking around. She's very busy. She's cooking. She has like these little tiny blue flowers on her dress that are really tiny. Like it's your traditional circle in the middle flower and all these little flowers around it. I see her. The dress is cream, little teeny, and they're a bright blue flower. They're not like a soft blue, or they're more of a brighter blue. She's around the kitchen. I feel like it's a grandmother energy. There's like a name like either Elizabeth or Emma, but it feels like she's an E. Feels like an E energy. An Emma, Eloise. It's an old world name. What?
She said Bessie Madeline.
Bessie.
Her other mother.
Okay. Did she do it? Yeah, because she comes in as doing a lot of cooking, and there's a lot of old world recipes. Are you using her cooking? Do you know anything about this? Do you know about these recipes? Were they passed down from the family? Because this is another avenue of the neat stuff you can explore, even just not even on a personal level, but you can bring it, to bring beautiful things for you, because there's a lot of options that are coming in now for everybody, even more so, sharing family recipes and old world cooking from love. Like my mother's food growing up used to be some of the greatest tasting, most delicious fucking food. I used to love to eat my mother's meals. Why? because they were made from love. My mother loved to cook. She loved her family, and this was how she could show us love. We already talked about the other things earlier, right? We're not going to go there right now. But so many times and you will notice this, when people cook from love, their food is always better and it's healing, even more so than ever before. It tastes better, it's delicious because love transforms everything. So I feel like this grandmother energy that's around you, yes, those names come in for her, but I feel like she doesn't identify with that name because I'm getting, these are names for her from past lifetimes, right? And I'm getting these energies, these names she identifies with more than she does with the name that she had in this lifetime. And that's because these were the lifetimes where she had more cooking abilities. Because I'm saying, is it Emma, Eloise, Elizabeth? Oh my God, you know why it's the E's? Because E is for what? Eating! I'm like, stop it, God, stop it, right? So, yeah. So, these names come in. It also comes in as these old world names. I mean, these are names that have mastered their craft. So this is what she's doing. She is there because your soul has called her in. She's been a guide for you on and off. So she comes in your house. She spends a lot of time in your kitchen because this is about cooking and this is about bringing these energies into the kitchen, into the home, so you can look through these avenues. Even if you do this as a personal family healing thing, because I feel you do a variation of these, is because it's in the family lineage. It's in the line as you came in. Absolutely. It's in the family line. It's meaning, like you know how you have your each family line we pick as we come into Earth World as our avenue or our path to come into Earth World. So it's in the core of all the family stuff. So these recipes, I feel like they go back 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 8 generations. So there's stuff that you're going to learn and do and channel, you know, if you want to, in reference to this. And she's here to help you and assist you with that. And it's really neat because it's for the family. You must ask God for some new recipes or something because, you know, and for new, really fun stuff that you love to do because you already love cooking. So these things come in for you. All the new ways for your new destinies, as some of the prayers that you could have said that would have brought her in, or you literally asked to open up your medium gifts. So there's so many different ways that this energy will come in for you, and this is why this is happening. I do feel there are 2 other people, and they are both grandfathers, because these are the energies that you would cook for, or she would cook for. Her husbands, her family. Oh my God, they too have like E names. At least one of them does. One is Edward. Like Edward, yeah. But there's another one, and I feel like the name is David, which then brings us back to the Christ energy, which is interesting, which is about super healing energy. David and Goliath. What else? What is the other name? David. What is Mary and Joseph, right? So there's something about the David energy connecting to, let's say, God through whether it's the Bible, the stories in the Bible, but it's connecting to that. The David energy is connecting to that Christ energy, which is also why he's there, because these gifts are about gifts for healing, not just for your family. But I feel like you're going to play with this for a while on a personal level, and it's going to be exciting and new because your soul is working on feeling things out that it loves to do in its heart, for your heart, to get you in your heart with things that you love, and to really experience these things. And through this process, it's going to pick and choose what it wants to do into the new world and into the future, and what it wants to do with these things. So it's neat how your soul calls in all these other energies if they so choose to come in as karmic agreements, as well as the whole coolest shit way that God works, love energy works, and how everything works together. So we have incredible power, right? Just by asking for new ideas for your destiny, right? And what you want to do and what you love to do, you've called in all of this stuff. Really neat stuff. So she is around you all the time. Journal these things. Ask her to speak to you. Ask to hear it, right? Ask to clear your blocks and emotional blocks that stop this from happening for you, right? Ask to, start cooking these recipes. And it may be that you find a book that you find in the basement of somebody else's, an aunt's house who you're helping clean out, and there's a whole book of handwritten recipes in there. Do you see what I'm saying? This is all designed to get you into the spaces, and God is infinite, and it comes in multiple different ways all the time. This is all how we're all connected, right? Because everything that is God is energy, and it brings you everything you need to know all the time, right? And it works together from love. This is why it knows what the darkness is doing. It can't hide from itself. It's fucking funny, right? All right. However, it should be noted that war is a terrible thing, because people, it's a lot of pain, it's a lot of suffering, and it's incredible, not well, right? However, energy is such that tough things sometimes are how things roll in this world. So what do? You pray. You ask God for the best solutions. You give everything to God in love, and what's best for the people, let's say in Ukraine, and best for everybody. Because really, this may seem just a battle in Ukraine, but this is really the battle of dark and light for everybody's best destiny and the healing and the love energy magic of the new planet Earth. Really cool shit. So I hope you like your reading. Where are we time-wise? I know.
It's 8:34.
8:34. Oh, good. We're doing great. All right. So who's next?
Kinsey is next. She is asking, how do you handle things like energy vampires when you can't necessarily cut them out of your life? Like family, for example, and also as in heat of the moment type of situations. Do you have any advice on this?
Yeah, I do. I totally get the energy vampire thing. Totally. I'm going to light me some sage here. All right. Basically, my whole show, or our whole show, and everything that we teach is how you deal with this, right? There's tools here that come in for you, Kinsey, because any energy vampires are smooth and slick. The very first thing you want to do is ask God to be free of them, right? One of my daughters, we had some challenges with her father, and he was so toxic forever, and he's going into a new phase of toxic once again. So there's some challenges here. And when he was younger, she would cry and say she didn't want to go see him, and there's a court order that she has to see them. So I live in Earth World and a metaphysical, simultaneously multidimensional at the same time, all the time in our lives, right? Truth of God and love. But I have to deal with things in Earth World guided by higher knowing in the best way that's still in law of alignment with Saturn in Earth World. And knowing how he is and operates helps to have an incredible understanding of his habits, patterns, and cycles, right? So I know how he's after, especially now, after dealing with him for 20 fucking years or more, right? I know his demons. I know what's important to him. I know, and this is even just the kind of like, even if I wasn't psychic or intuitive or highly gifted with God, like we all are, right? Let's say I didn't have those gifts, which I didn't have them to this capacity when my kids were little, right? And I still had to deal with them. But as you grow and learn from experience in Earth World, it tells you the truth about people, right? There were things that were super important, things that would happen, like if you live with somebody and they're nasty all the time and they say nasty comments all the time, well, you can pretty much go home every time and expect nasty comments to come out of their mouths, right? And that's just one of the things, right? That one of the things that would happen. The other thing is he would manipulate with money. So I could always expect this. So the whole entire time we would go head to head. Now, when I say expect it, don't expect it, so to speak, but just know and put it over here on the shelf that this person that who is, let's say, an energy vampire who sucks off of your energy or takes from you in some way, shape, or form, or is toxic, right? Whatever kind of demon type of thing that they are, or their darknesses in their souls that you have to deal with, right? It is wisest to observe them and know what's going on and talk to God. You want to know the truth of them, their habits, their patterns, their beliefs, everything. I had another ex who constantly cheated, right? Wasn't there all the time. Earthworld shows you the truth of who these people are and their habits and patterns, right? If he cheated on his first wife, he's going to cheat on every fucking 6 of them. 6, right? Fucking crazy, right? Because the problem isn't really with him, it's with everybody else. Right? But the truth here really is that he's got to heal in here. But these are his habits and patterns. So no matter how many times every girl that runs out there and says, well, he's not going to do that to me. Oh, girl. I so feel for you, right? Oh, yeah, because that's not truth of God. Truth of God, that's his shit. And it's you, whoever's self, like with me, right? He did this because I called it in. Where am I cheating on me? Where am I shitty to me? Where am I not there for me, right? Yeah. So this is all about healing my heart, my self-worth, right? My self-love space. But returning back to this, all these behaviors that all my exes did and do, I know them like the back of my hand, right? And I use those things not like a sword and manipulative. I'm just wise to the truth that is going on here. Just like when I look at the world, I say, okay, all this shit is happening in the world and it's too fucked up and it hasn't happened my whole life. So, and it's over and over and all these weirdo things. It just can't fucking be right? Or in alignment with love. So I'm going to note it, I'm going to log it, I'm going to put it up here, and I'm going to talk to God about it, right? But even if I didn't have those gifts, I can see and learn about people's behaviors by being married to them. And the greatest tool is once you're living with them, then you really get to know people, right? Like an ex that always drinks is going to most likely continue to drink unless they do something to change it. Or an ex that never wants to have sex with you, right? These are some of my stories. I can't have children when I'm 24 if my lover doesn't want to be with me. Do you see what I'm saying? And at some point, these are his habits and patterns, and he drinks too much and he can't be that guy. And while I love him, I can't be with him because of those reasons, right? However, because I want to have kids and I have dreams, right? So you have to balance that energy out and say, hey, how do I change this, God? But I also need to be aware that these energies run in these people so I can make the best choices for me, right? So when he says for the 5th time that he's going to stop drinking and can't for years, okay? His MO is such that the propensity for it not happening is so profound, it's just not going to happen in this lifetime. But it's okay, because this is part of his healing journey, and if it takes lifetimes, that's all right. But where it becomes an issue is where and how it affects you. This is why, everything I do, I'm always watching people. I'm looking at what they're wearing. I'm looking at what they're doing. I'm watching how they're speaking. I'm seeing how they text me. I'm reading the energy of everybody all the time. And I'm talking to God all the time, even when I'm not speaking it out here. Because and I'm asking God, what's the God's honest truth, And then my soul just does this subconsciously all the time as part of my gifts. That's Mars and Virgo. That's Mercury and Scorpio. That's and these are just 2 of the placements that I have that really analyze and get to the bottom of the human psyche, right? And that's what Scorpio does. It's the mystery. Everything in Gemini too. Everything in my life is like a giant Rubik's Cube. I fucking hate Rubik's Cubes, but I love the mysteries of all that is God. I'm like crazy with it. I'm like, I gotta find the bottom of this. I gotta get to this. I want to see this, right? But also, these tools that I have don't come because I'm nasty to people, because I'm toxic and shitty and unwell. They come because I come from love. And because you don't get this kind of power, these kinds of gifts, if you don't work with love and if you aren't in your heart. Do you see? So in these spaces, look at their behavior, these energy vampire people, right? Ask to be free of these things in your life, all the toxic people in your life. But be careful. When I say be careful, be wise, because ask and you shall receive is how it really works. And it can go down in all kinds of ways that you would never think of. And there may be challenges within this, but universe will answer your prayers. You will be free of these vampires, right? Just trust and go with it. But as you see these things coming, you can predict their behaviors, so you know how to figure out things, right? Just like when my ex wouldn't, I was talking about one of my exes. I'm going to see if I can't go back to that one story with him, with my daughter first, and then I'll talk about this other story over here, because this all has to do with you and your reading, right? Ask to be free of them. And my oldest daughter, we did this, and for years, she had to see him for a while. Some weekends, the energy would cancel, and she would say to me, I had just asked God to be free of him this weekend, Mom. And I said, good for you. If that's what you feel in your heart that you want to do, then I encourage you to talk to God. And this is what's best. This will happen. So I'm not encouraging my kid in a negative, toxic way. I'm telling her, speak to love. If you're hurting or you don't want to go and you're having a tough weekend, then ask love to be free of it. Or if he's being difficult and doesn't want to do the right thing, or was not well with you when you went last time, or whatever, if you're feeling that, ask love to be free of it. And that's what we did. We asked to be free of him because the relationship between her and her dad got so volatile and toxic. And then you know what happened, Kenzie? He moved to fucking Florida, and we were like, yes! right? So then she only has to see him like once in a while, thank God. But she didn't fly down there. It was only when he came once in a while. And and the more we prayed on it, right, from love, the more wonderful things like that will happen. You have all the power here. You have all the power. But also look at where you're allowing people to suck off of you. Where are you sucking off of other people? Where are you sucking literally in your life, right? Or feel like you are. Doesn't mean these things are real. These are just ways to take a look at you and all the things that are going on. Where are you a vampire? Where are you letting or giving to everybody and having nothing for you? Where are you where are you not living your greatest dreams and having your life force energy, your blood sucked out of you? Wow. Right? All these things are stuff to think on and metaphysically work in our charts, in our earth world, all the tools that we teach here to clear these things out. Because just like what I did the work on the structure and the water pouring down as the earlier story of today, right? Just like when I talked about that, right? That will change the energy for you across the board, because that's how it works, right? That's totally how it works. You shift that energy by doing this work, right? And you talk to universe, God, ask for what you want. You want to be free of this person, ask to be free of them. You want the healthiest, best relationship with them from love, ask for that. And if they can be that, they will be, because these are all things that a person who comes from love in their hearts really always wants anyways, somewhere. Right? But it doesn't mean that person can automatically be in the space or in the way that you want, right? For example, the relationship with my mother has finally come around after 20 years, right? North and South Node, right? After 20 years ago, I prayed all my life to have a great relationship with my mom. God, please heal this, right? Please change this. Let me be friends with my mom. Let us be able to have fun together. Let me love her and let her love me in the healthiest, best way, right? Because that's really all we want. And now, with all these changes on the planet, the dynamics are such that these things are happening, right? Cool shit. So you have all the power, Kinsey. Think about what you want. Ask God for what you want. If these relationships are toxic for your children, right, and you ask to be free of them, like people say, well, you're really manipulating the energy, and it's not fair that you don't let your daughter see her father. No, it's not really like that. That's your interpretation of what you think is going on here. Because when I ask God, I'll say, thanks God for me being free of him and my daughter being free of him. If this is what's best for us, and if we so choose from love, if this is what's best for us and all, and thank you, God, for that for us, then universe takes the ball or the fire or the emotion and boom, makes it happen. And if this is what's best, because God always does what's best for us, this is what will happen, right? This is the power of all the stuff that we have. If we're in alignment with love, these things will happen, because all that is universe just validating that this is toxic. That it isn't unhealthy for her. It is unhealthy for her to see him so much, right? And now he's going through his own phase again now with some other stuff, and she's 20, and we're running into some new challenges, So, there's that says there's just more work to do on ourselves, right? So, or we can look at it like, oh my God, right? But then he texts me all this nasty shit, and I'm like, block, because she's 20 now and she's an adult, and thank God. Thank God, because now I don't have to have a court order that says I have to, be and work with this energy, right? But even so, I'm always working with God or love, because this way it nips it in the bud. I don't have to play games. I have a hell of a lot less drama, and I am not into drama. I'm not, right? Because love in its purest form is authentic. It tells the truth. That's one of the things about me. That's, and some of this for sure is Sagittarian energy. We're very blunt and to the point. Hey, I don't have time to bullshit around. I have too many things in my life that I want to do and get done. And I'm very direct, and I don't want to play games. I played all those games before. I did all the stupid shit, or unwell stuff, right? Now I'm getting to the bottom of the pot of the stuff that is like my most tormenting stuff. And this is what I want to focus on. I want to focus on my dreams, my happiness, right? So I don't want to play games and be in this toxic energy, because all that does is create more cycles of drama and fighting and all this shit. Like, he used to text me all the time, and I used to allow him to text me all the time, right? And I would answer his text right away because I was still in love with him, right? And then I said, God, let me be free of this. But when all of a sudden his text didn't matter, whoa, what a powerful day that was. Okay. Yeah, because now, his texts don't matter anymore. Why? Because he doesn't have all those strings and all those cords sucking off of me, because I've healed that space in me. I can love him And I don't have to do what he asked me to do. I don't have to take his calls. I don't have to be with him. I don't have to do the manipulation, the drama, the control, and all that. I don't. What you laughing about, girl?
I just love Sophia.
I don't know. My people are silly. Anyways, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It's great to laugh, right? Laughing is so good. Okay. That said, so Kenzie, do all that stuff. Also, Sage, get the energy off of you. Energetically, you can cut the cords yourself. You can go have energy work and have it done as well. Cords meaning the energetic cords that attach you to things and people, right? I did a whole bunch of energy work, and this is what happened with my oldest too. Her dad's going through this crisis now, and you know what happened? I did a whole shit ton of energy work on her, which automatically cut the cords on her and him, and then he starts freaking out. Why aren't you calling me? Why aren't you in my life? What are you doing? Did you get a tattoo on your face? And he's losing it, right? Because I cut the cords. So when you do stuff like that, now when I say I cut the cords, I didn't physically cut them. Consciously, when we did this energy work, it automatically happened, right? Because all of a sudden her dad starts texting her all this berserk stuff, and we're like, whoa, right? And then the universe says to me, I'm like, God, what is going on here? Why is he freaking out? Because when you cut the cords, they can't suck off of you anymore. So he's sucking off of my kid. I can't tell you how many times he wanted to have a therapy session with her when she's like 10 years old. Madeline, I'm having a hard time. Help me out. I'm feeling miserable. And if you don't call me, I can't really live. And we're like, honest to God, this is the shit that we got to deal with in our lives sometimes. And it's funny now, but when it's happening, you're like, oh my God. And then when you have a court order that says he has to see her, you're like, oh, please, God. So your best way and only way out of this kind of shit is to talk to God or love as much as possible, right? Crazy stuff, right? But truth. So you have all the tools. I'm going to keep calling you Mackenzie, but it's Kinsey. Past life, girl, past lives. So ask and you shall receive. Start talking in love. Do saging. Get the energy off of you. There's lots of other tools and techniques that they have that you can do to keep energies out of your house. You can also pray on everything. Ask God to be free of them. Ask to protect you in your dreams so they can't come out. The other thing, there's a really good book out there that I read a while back. I think the woman's name is Harbor. Her last name is Harbor, Harbour, and it's about energy vampires, how to talk to them, how to not when I say talk to them, like meaning how to understand them, how to spot them, what to do. So, and then it gives you a whole entire bunch of types of different energy vampires and stuff. It's a really good book. I liked it. I got a lot out of it. So I recommend it to a lot of people who it's because it's so hard sometimes when we're such amazing spiritual beings and we're always giving to everybody. It's hard to see sometimes when people are sucking off of us. That even happened to me as of recent, where I got rid of a few people in my life. I said, God, get rid of all these toxic people in my life. And I didn't even realize how things were really going. And now I get it, right? Because we're as healers and love energy beings, we're so giving and so amazing love energy beings that it's, and we want to give. And that's some of the challenges for us in our self-love spaces. When is enough? Where do we draw those lines, right? So the more we work with God and love, the more you can do that. But this book, Energy Vampires, basically the title is Energy Vampires, and then it has like a subtitle that says how to work with them or how to work with this and learn about it and what to do kind of thing. And the last name of it is Harbor, Harbour, I believe it's an author. It's a woman's name, I think. But there are other books on this out there. But this is a nice way to get really good insights for this to help you as well. But ask and you shall receive. Protect yourself. Ask to be free of them. Ask for the best outcome, whenever you see them. Ask love to speak through you. Ask love to handle it. Ask to be free of them if this is what's best for you and all from love, okay? So again, you got all the power. Okay, that said, who's next?
I thought we'd have some prayers. Steve is asking for prayers to help remember to greet people by name and say hello before he begins questioning or talking. So he'd like to be more polite. He also would like prayers for to be free of stomping down his emotions and fear of asking for anything for him based on things he witnessed and experienced in his childhood at 802 San Ramon. He keeps seeing 802 recently, he says. And he says thank you.
All right. Thank you. So basically, this is all stuff he wants to be free of.
Essentially.
All right. Thanks, Steve, for watching. Thanks for being with us. Okay. All right. I'm going to ask God for the best clearing, healing, and changes with all of this from love in the purest form, all this energy that is all of this, to connect with it, all energy that is all of this, as well as connect with all emotional energy that is all of this, and emotions that are all of this. Clear. To thank you, God, for us feeling it, processing it, releasing it, and healing it. And thank you, God, for in place of this putting all of this energy that is all this. Thank you for putting the best way to be from love in the purest form in this reality, any reality, and all that is, for all of us now, please. For Steve and all of us, if we also desire it from love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that is. And thank you, God, for these gifts in our souls and in all we are, be, say, do, and create in the best way for us and all, or something better. And thank you, God, for that for us, right?
God for that for me.
All right, there you go, Steve. You're good. So these prayers go out to everybody if you want them. Thank you, God, for that for me. Simply said, with passion, right? From love and authenticity. Okay, so who's next?
We have Trin Sasha. She's asking a question for her mother. Her mother's name is Patricia Campoverde, and she'd like to know what's in store for her. And her birthday is 4/10/1967.
Okay, so she comes in 4/10. She comes in as an Aries energy, right smack in the middle of that Aries energy. I feel like she might be an Aries Leo in her decan. Let me just see. Okay, so what is her name?
Patricia Campoverde.
And what is she asking one more time?
What's in store for her?
All right, God, what's the God's honest truth? What's in store for Patricia? There's something about a house in like Mexico or in the... Because they keep connecting me with this other energy that says like a house on the ocean or a house in Mexico, or like is it Mexico? I feel like it's Mexico, but it could be any of the, what do they call that middle piece between America and South America? Where the Suez Canal is. What is the name of that? Is that Central America? That's what it's called, isn't it? Duh, I just had to like kind of get to that space on the map here in my head, in my heart. So, in my head, in my heart. I feel like you being an Aries, there's something about you revamping and having this second home and doing the work in your home. I feel like possibly you're going to move down there. I do feel like there's challenges with crime down there too, though. So I think you've been having some challenges, but this is how you're going to change everything. They're also telling me you're going to come up with solutions for the fence there, or a fence, or some kind of way to secure it. They're showing me like an image of, like, remember the movie Scarface? He's got all this shit decked out on his property. So I feel like it's a very beautiful home. I feel like it's your dream home. I feel like you're either building it, have built it, but you're concerned about being there. And I feel like I almost like either have talked to you before, or I have another client who has this same energy going on. So you may do this and travel to Mexico, but this is coming in for you. But by working with universe or God or love, whether it's you or not doesn't even matter. This energy is coming in for you, because when I get in that space, it feels like it is, but there's a lot of confusion around it. And I'm going to ask God to clear that and put the God's honest truth. Yeah, I feel like it's you. Or her. Same. Okay. All right. Thank you, God. Hold on a second. So this is about, really, regardless of all this over here, clear this energy out now, please, God. Yeah, they keep saying it's her. So I feel like this is a journey for you that has been your life stream, but these challenges in the new world with this are really challenging. I do feel like you will get to have this house. I feel like there's dolphins, there's water, there's about healing energy, and this is about living your dreams. And Aries is the house of the first house, right? Your home, your soul is your home. Aries has a lot of action energy and doing stuff around the home. And my mother is an Aries energy, and she's always constantly rebuilding, doing, right? She's out in her yard doing crazy shit that no other sign on the zodiac will do. She'll like plant an oak tree that's 500 pounds and she'll be carrying it out there and she'll be like, yeah, I planted that tree here, So, or she'll be ripping up her kitchen and do it yourself shit, right? So, that said, I see you as coming up with a lot of ideas. Now, it doesn't mean you have to physically, literally be doing this. However, I feel like this is coming for you if you haven't already started, or you're going to continue working on this. And all those energies that are toxic will pass with the new world. But in the meantime, you're going to get some insight, channeling gifts from universe on how to keep your home or this home secure. This is all coming in for you. So these are some pretty exciting times. I feel your family is going to visit you, and you're going to create a very beautiful space. They may even, all of them may all even move down there and live there, because it's really a totally different new world, which is and new ideas and radical plans and things that we never thought we would be doing will be coming out, and we'll be doing them. Let me just see. So this is coming in for you. This is, I feel like this is like, basically, has to do with your natal moon return. It's like, what am I going to do with my rest of my life? What am I going to do for me? What is my destiny? What do I want? What kind of legacy do I want to leave for the world? What do I want to give to my family? What is going to bring me happiness for myself for the rest of my life? It's where we look at our mortality, and reassess and what do I value in my life? So all of these things are going on for your mother, in her, I feel. So these are some of the, this is what I feel like is a very 57 to 63 to 68%, a big chunk of her journey, but it does feel like Mexico, and it does feel like the water, and it does feel like a beautiful area, although I do feel the place right now is challenged with crime. But this will change, and universe will give her the tools to live these dreams and be able to navigate the toxic that's down there. The more she prays, the more she works with God, the more she works with love, and listens and does that, the more all these things will come to fruition, and it's going to be absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Go ahead.
She said that you're very right. Her mother is building her dream home in Ecuador.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Yeah. I felt like Mexico, but it's Central America. How fucking wild is that? That's incredible. Thank you, God. Thank you. Okay, so who's next?
We were gonna look at Crystal. You remember Crystal?
Crystal?
Yes, she has the little.
Oh, Crystal! Crystal. Wait. This is the Crystal that I really got such a kick out of that time you came to class, right? And you had that fire in your eyes. Your soul showed me that picture of the little girl with the fire in her eyes. Oh, it's crazy. Love that, because you're like me, man. So like me. You got that fucking wild ass fire. Like, your soul's gonna do what the fuck it wants to do, and too bad. that kind of energy, but it's not from a nasty, mean space. It's from a place of self-love. But it is one hell of a powerful soul. So, Crystal, great to see you again here, even though I can't really see you in the way that I might like. I'm so glad you're here, though. Good for you. Good for all of us. Go ahead.
She's actually been having a hard time, she says. She's currently on day 4 of an anxiety attack, okay, and she hasn't been able to get any help. So she's been getting the notifications of your live, and she hasn't been able to check in there either, and she's kind of excited to be here, I feel like, and she just wanted to listen. She's having trouble verbalizing things as well.
Oh. My ring fell and went under the table. And I did hear that she's having trouble verbalizing, like speaking.
Yeah, I feel like getting her point across, I feel like.
Communication.
Yeah.
Can't speak up for herself.
Yeah.
All right. I know we've talked on the phone before. Thank you, Rachel. Yeah. Thank you. Now you get 100 points, Rachel.
Winner!
Rachel retrieved my ring from under the table. All right. So, Crystal, I love you, girl. Okay, I'm going to ask God the best tools for you for right now, and always with all of this. Okay, chart work, right? Get out your natal chart if you can. I think we've talked to this. I think you've come to some classes. I think we worked a little bit together. Your anxiety, your fears, and all that stuff. One of the best places to start reading you stuff of this stuff is in your Saturn placement and doing energy work, right? We have clearing classes here that we can help you bang this out, that you can do as well. So these are some of those things, but you can do it yourself, right? Ask and you shall receive, just with everything here. Now, if you've been missing the lives, Crystal, you can see all of my shows, the 6 and 12 Medical Intuitive and the Live Talk Forum. They're both on, one's on Friday night at 7:15 and one's on Sunday night at 7:15. And the reason I'm telling you this is because there's two of them, and then there's my whole entire YouTube channel, which is Practical Spirituality Live with Lynn Rene MacDonald, right? You Google my name, it should come up, right? And there's 270 videos, and some of them are from way back when, before COVID-19, when I was in a different God space or evolution of my God space, right? And this will show you and guide you to smaller, shorter videos of tools and techniques to do what we do and teach here. And this is for everybody. Those are the earlier videos. Some of them are 30 minutes, some of them are 5 minutes, some of them are 17 minutes, all right? But they're all part of this journey to help everybody, because I said to God, should I get rid of those? And they're like, no, right? So this is a great way to teach people with quick videos, but you can tap into my YouTubes and see the replays from these lives, all of them, on the YouTube Practical Spirituality page with me, Lynn Rene MacDonald. So you can tune into that. All of you guys can, because there's so much massive information here and tools to help everybody in spiritual work or spiritual energy work, right? And gifts across the board, right? Okay, so that said, this is how universe is guiding me to tell you, because then you can tap into that YouTube channel anytime you want, and you subscribe. Each time we load one up, you'll get a notification. It'll show up in your email, and you can tap right into it, right? And you can listen to it. Like, people call me up and they're like, Lynn, I listen to your YouTubes. Or they come in the shop and they're like, I watch your YouTubes when I'm driving. Like, they listen to them, they don't watch them, right? So they're listening to my YouTubes when they're driving to work or they're going here, right? So these are great ways that you can still see the show, and maybe you don't have 2 hours, because I get it. When you're a mom and a single mom, right, like me, it can get pretty tough sometimes if you don't have family to rely on or anyone else to help you. This is why the power of God or universe or love in this method is so fantastic, because there's nothing you can't do and work with within it, right? And it's so fucking easy, right? So easy, right? Okay, hold on a minute. So this comes in, right, for you, as well as working on your chart work, right? Look up Saturn placements, Chiron, Black Moon Lilith in the transit, as well as a solar return chart, your subconscious chart, right? And also another cool way is you can also look into, like, the charts of your child, right? Because sometimes we'll see things and avenues in them, and then we don't realize that this is stuff in us, because the energy is still the energy. It manifests differently in different placements in the astrology, as well as it does in our souls, right? So that said, working on this metaphysical work will help you immensely, all right? But what they're telling me is that it's really a hard time for you in Earth World. So I'm going to tell you some stuff to do. If you have a diffuser, great, use a diffuser. It could be a glass bowl. We have them at the shop, but you can get them anywhere, right? We have a big glass bowl that we put these little wooden sticks in, and like right now I have frankincense next to my bed, right? Yeah, I have frankincense in my room, and it was next to my bed. And I put like 5 or 6 drops in there, and then I can smell the frankincense, right? Well, you can do that with frankincense. You can do that with, when I say frankincense, I'm talking about Young Living essential oil frankincense. You can, there's two, you can get the Vitality one, or you can get the traditional one. I think they have sacred frankincense too, right? But also frankincense comes in, it's a little more expensive, but you can do lavender, you can do bergamot, you can also do, what is the other one I like that comes in? God, thank you for bringing that in now, please. Tangerine to up the energy, to like make you feel better if you're feeling groggy. Tangerine. Lavender, bergamot, stress away. Those are three or four different ones that you can use, all right, for different things depending on how you're challenged, with anxiety or depression. Lavender, I absolutely love, because it really just helps you release all the time. You can carry it around. You can smell it under your nose. You can put it on your wrist, right? So again, Young Living lavender essential oil. You can use that, and these other ones. These are tools you can diffuse it in your house. That's going to help you stay calm. It's going to help you release and do the prayer work. Ask love to release this. Ask love to be free of this. Ask love to put the best way to be in place of this for you, in your soul, and in your emotional space, and in all that you are, from love. Thank you, God, for that for us, right? Okay, in the best way for us to learn something better. Okay, that said, let me just see. So those are some tools for right now. The other thing, Crystal, is get yourself, if you can, when you can, these are 12 tissue cell salts, right? I knew we have them here all the time. I try to keep them here, right? There's 12 of them. They go with your astrology houses. We've talked about them a little bit on the Medical Intuitive Lives sometimes. Sometimes we've talked about them in here, right? There are certain numbers. They go with astrology. Say, there's the numbers, right? They go with the houses of the astrology, right? There's books on this stuff. So you don't want to take things that you don't read about or know about and that you don't talk to God about. You don't just do stupid shit, right? You ask love for the answers, right? Ask love for the best solutions for you. That's how I got to all of this, right? Every day I'm talking to God, right? So there's 12 of these. These are incredible, amazing things. It's homeopathic medicine or homeopathic, I don't want to say medicine, because of all the other crap in the world, the belief systems of the world over here and getting in trouble and all that shit. Homeopathic, I like to say, tools to help you be your best well, right? Okay, that said, there's a few numbers that come in for you. I'm just going to ask God for stress. What were the other things that she had going on with her, Kim?
She said she's having difficulty communicating. I also get a sense that she's just having trouble doing anything. Do you know what I mean?
Right, like focusing.
Yeah, or even just like I feel like she just can't even move. Yeah, function.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's the deal. If you're feeling okay with it, text me and let me know if you got the vaccine, because if you did, then it behooves you to start really doing some detoxing to help you negate and energy work and a whole bunch of stuff to help you be free of the unwell stuff associated with that in your system. Okay, so that's one thing, because then I'm going to give you a whole bunch of other stuff to do with all of this stuff. All right, and I don't like to talk about this shit where I'm calling people on it, because your medical privacy, I understand and I respect that. All right, but my job is to teach people truth of God from love and God's honest truth. So this is why I'm asking you not to know about your personal shit, but to be able to help you in the best way across the board. I get people who lie to me all the time, and universe is like, oh yeah, they got the shot. They told you they didn't, but they did. And eventually if I don't really pay attention to that or whatever, so to speak, they'll either tell me or I'll know by how you're acting in your earth world, because these are some of the symptoms that can happen with the shot. People can't think, they can't carry a conversation for a long period of time. They're not like in depth. They start having, all kinds of physical symptoms. That there's like accidents on the road they call vacccidents, right? Not funny, right? However, you'll notice there's just so much crazy shit that is associated with this, and you'll see this in the people that you know, because it's a break in your intuition, your heart space, your God connection, right? And so the more boosters you get, the less connected to God your soul is, right? The more broken and toxic or unwell things become physically and in all ways in your soul, okay? This is the part of the grand design of the darkness, right? And you'll see this. It's pretty wild stuff, and you can feel it in the energy. You will feel people's energies shift, right? Because it's the shot, realistically, we all know what's going on with it, and the testing too. So either way, a poison is a fucking poison, whether it's plastics, whether it's Monsanto poisons that, grass seed, salts, salt meaning, the ice salt, what do they call that shit that they spread out there? Poison is a poison. Toxic is toxic. So if you got a lot of these in your system, and it sounds like you have some challenges here, so detox, right? Start eating cleaner foods, processed foods, McDonald's, all that shit has to go for now while you're not well, right? Also, these salts come in to help you negate the symptoms and help you to be much better across the board in your assist you in your healing journey. Okay, so there's 12 of these. The one and there's books on this. You guys can get simple little $15 books. We sell them at our shop, but you can get them yourself. You can do the research yourself. Research. Cell salts, right? And what they do. A lot of different people teach a lot of different things, but you can buy them in holistic stores. You can buy them at our shop and center. Basically, we have like what you would call an apothecary here too. We call it in 103. We call it our pharmacy, right? It's fucking funny. It's crazy. It's got all kinds of natural products. Incredible. Of course, we have some earth world medicines too, but We'll talk about that another day. Okay, so that said, the three most biggest ones that come in for you right now with all of this are, actually, what are the best ones for her? What are her things? So she's not being able to process stuff. Because the thinking. I'm just talking to God and I'm rambling right now. I'm talking to the universe because they're telling me different things for different reasons. Because what they're saying that the wheat and wheat toxins, processed wheat, pastas, breads, that's really messing with your thinking, and you're getting like flu symptoms. You're getting like congestion. You can't think right, and it's almost like you don't know what's wrong with you. I also see some visual problems, like you're not able to see right either, coming in. Okay, so they're telling me 3, 4, 7, and 10. So research those things. You will see what those particular cell salts will do for you. But this is specific, across the board. So you can learn about all these things. But, from books, right, for people who do this, and that's part of their gifts with God. But this is the wisdom I'm getting for you personally, for your soul with you, right? So you could get a package of these 12 ones, right? It's a 12 pack of your general basic ones that are 6X. But you also do your research, people. Don't just listen to the shit I say here and be like, do your research. You're your own best health advocate here, and it's up to you to be responsible for you, right? So Crystal, these things come in for you for assistance for you. Also, changing your diet will help you profoundly. The more whole foods, fruits, vegetables that you eat, the better. The less caffeines, the less any kind of smoke you're around, any kind of toxins, start detoxing. You can get little capsules and drink a bottle of water, preferably pH water. The less plastic in your life, the better. All these things are going to help you across the board. So your little tablets, like they have capsules. Anytime you take like a pill kind of thing, you want to take like a capsule if you can, or you want to take a liquid so your body can assimilate it in the best way, right? So like, let me give you an example. For a detox, you could use, a charcoal capsule. That's a powdered capsule, charcoal, and is it, I always could do this bentonite clay, or is it, yeah, and bentonite clay with like a big, bottled water, like we drink all the time, this lovely alkaline water. While it's not really great for us because it has plastic, but the pH is really good. You want to have a good pH, water to balance, right? Alkaline water. Okay, so those come in for you, but you start, you can do detox. You can do turmeric as well, liquid turmeric for the inflammation. Okay, so you got the cell salts to help you with everyday symptoms. These things, right? Everyone says, oh, there's no cure for hiccups. Oh, I can't get my eyes to stop watering, right? I'm itching all over. I'm having, incredible gas, incredible stomach pains. These babies, look, there's all these individual ones, right? These babies will help you with all of that. Incredible stuff. And of course you can use your oils too, right? For any symptoms that come up, right? But what I do here is I'm asking God for the best solutions for this, right? If you want to PM me and I can tell you exactly how to do whatever it is they guide me to tell you to do. I just can't do it specifically here because then we run into all kinds of other earth world bullshit that it's God guides me isn't wisest for now, right? But as the world changes, this too shall change, right? So if you want to PM me, gladly, please do, right? So, because I will help you even more with this. But definitely change your diet, all right? Or adjust it. I hate to say change. It's like, oh my God, I can't eat a piece of chocolate anymore, right? But that's not really it. Sugars, pastas, wheats, chemicals, processed foods, get them out of your world. All these symptoms will start to change as much as possible, as well as the caffeines and the coffees and the sodas, and all that stuff, right? Those are things that, well, I love them too, and I get that, right? And this is about emotional healing. As you do the chart work or the energy work, right, and you work on your soul, you are less likely. Universe tells me you won't want to eat these delicious little Hershey Kisses and all that sweet garbage, right? Or incessantly crave those things, right? Because let me give you an example, right? My mother, when I was young, and I told you that whole story, how I stomped my emotions. One of the things that my mother did was she gave us food because that's how she showed us she loved us, right? Oh, this is Jupiter stuff. This is Sagittarius stuff, right? Sagittarius loves food, right? So totally love food, right? Sagittarius lives big, right? So that said, doesn't mean we all have to be big, right? But that said, right, one of the things that I would do when I was a kid in those emotional spaces is that I ended up loving soda, loving chocolates, loving sweets, because I wasn't allowed to feel my emotions. I stomped my emotions down, and those things were the things that would make me what? Feel good. Missing the sweet stuff. I love the sweet stuff. I love the soda, the candy, the sugar, the pastries, right? Because somewhere in me, all this simulation in my soul, all this stuff going on in my soul with these experiences from lifetime into present day now, and what happened to me, right? Stomping, having somebody, a parent stomp down my feelings, right? Stomp on me all the time, right? The way that my soul, right, what would happen is how my soul got what it needed emotionally was through sweets, through sugars, through candies. Sugar would make me feel better. Breads would make me feel better. Pastas would make me feel better. Eating would make me feel better emotionally, because I'm missing the sweet stuff, the good things in life, the abundance, getting to feel all my emotions, right? So as we heal this emotional stuff, I'm less likely to have all these candies here and be craving them. Doesn't mean I can't eat them and I won't enjoy them, but I'll be in a healthier space for damn sure. And if I heal all of it, then I won't even really probably even want it. Right? But you see, that's the key, right? You can't force yourself to quit doing shit. You have to heal it authentically. That's what they're missing. Yeah, you can take a pill in the earth world to change this and do that, but that's only going to work for so long, because you're not really being fully responsible for your health care, for your unwellness, for everything about you. But if nobody teaches you, you don't know, right? So going back to the diet, you're very much like me, girl. You don't get a wild soul that is so super gifted like you, and the fire, those fiery red eyes I seen in that little girl's when that one day that your soul showed me that vision. It was incredible. I'll never forget that. It stokes me every time I think of that image, right? Because everybody out there, Crystal's soul, like the first day I met her, was talking to me, and it showed me an image of a little girl, and she's like, my soul, Crystal goes, my soul is like an entity of its own, you know. She goes, it's powerful, right? And I started smiling. I said, okay. I said, I know what you're talking about, right? And their soul literally showed me a vision of this little girl in a dress, and like the sky was like all stormy, and it was like almost like there was like a picket fence, and then there was like a house, like a farmhouse in the background. There was like a field and grass, and that little girl was walking, and I was looking at her back, and she was walking away from me, and she was like going to climb over a fence, and then at the last second before she like got to the fence, she turned around and went like that and looked at me from behind, and she had these flaming fiery eyeballs, and they were like red and on fire, and I was like, no way, right? And this is her soul showing me this. Pretty cool shit, right? So anyways, but along with these spaces of God and all of our power and our own individual souls that are super powerful, because your soul, your subconscious soul, runs the show. All right, so there's incredible pain, hurting, and suffering in all of us when we get to these spaces, Crystal, and I totally get it. Totally get it, right? That's why I talk about my stories, because there's nothing like real life. It's your greatest teacher. It's your greatest school. Really is. And your soul will lead you to everything you need. So, talking about, so this requires emotional healing. Your soul is already doing this, but this is why you're having the challenges on a grand scale, because 73 to 78% of this is super emotional. And it's about the stuff you have to release from this lifetime that you've been dragging for lifetimes. So do these things, when I say, cut back on breads, pastas, all of, sugars, all these things, right, in your life, this will definitely help you across the board to feel better, less brain fog, less congestion, and chemicals as well, along with the other things the universe has guided me to tell you. 60 to 70% fruits and vegetables, especially fruits, berries, there's super antioxidants and wonderful stuff for healing in there, right? I'm just saying, fruits and vegetables, right? Don't forget to eat your protein and balance that energy of the sweet stuff out in the natural stuff, right? So you can use the oils, right? And pray on everything. Do your chart work, your energetic work, and again, the diet. All these things will help you immensely. You can do the detox. You can do the turmeric. The other thing too that comes in for you with all of this is digestive enzymes, which is the HCl, and that is a company named Pure makes those, right? And what they do is they help you to digest and assimilate your food more to get the processing, get your food, get the nutrients in there for you. It's wild shit. Dr. Steve was our Dr. Steve, who was super brilliant in nutrition, super brilliant. He's our energy chiropractor here. He's fantastic. And he has a wealth of stuff like this, and he was who told me about the digestive enzymes, right? But there's no accidents of God or love. So and because he also had some digestive issues, what we are is what we attract, and when our digestive system doesn't work right, and that's like number 10 cell salt, that is part of the tools that they're telling me to help you with all of this, right? So more often than not, when our stomachs aren't well, right, all the stuff we can't stomach, right, it's going to come out all in here, right? When we don't assimilate our food, then we're not getting the vitamins, minerals, herbs, and more toxins are leaking out, like that leaky gut, they call it, right? Gets into our system, causes more problems and challenges in our health, and the longer it goes on, the older we get, the more we don't work on our stuff or do what we need to do to change these things, the more challenges we then end up having, right? Because the universe, that's how it works here. Universe brings us to the things and smacks us in the face however many times it takes till we what? Get it. Yeah. So the more you work with this energy, like they're guiding me to share with you, and like you asked, the more you're going to change everything, and the less difficult it's going to be. Ask God that it's easy. Ask God that you love it. Ask God that we heal it. Ask God that we change it. You have all the power from love. Okay, that said, anything else for Crystal? You can PM me, Crystal. All right. You can PM me with more guidance on this, as well. They're also telling me fresh air, and you got to get some rest too, right? Don't be afraid to sleep in the day. Your little boy will be okay. He sleep by you. Okay. All right. Thanks, girl. Much love. All right. What time are we at? What are we doing?
It's 9:25.
It's 9:25?
Yeah.
You people didn't tell me it was 9:25. It's okay. It's all right. Okay. So it's 9:25, everybody. If you have a question here, my great team that I have to tease and bother all the time, right? they will record it for next week. Next Sunday, 7:15. Our live talk forums are here. You can come in person live to our shopping center, as well as you can join us here on Facebook. Also, you can. So we'll be doing this week's questions that didn't get answered for next Sunday, and then Friday night, this coming Friday night, once again, 7:15 for all our shows. We have the 6 and 12 medical intuitive, just like this last questions we answered for Crystal. You can come and ask about you and your health and anything to do with that. Okay. All right. So thank you guys very much for coming. Thank you for supporting us in all ways that you do. You can donate through Venmo and PayPal, I believe, or you can send us checks or money via our shopping center, as well as what else am I you can share energetically as well. Share what we do so we can help people. The more we change what's going on out here to love, and if you feel somebody's called into it, share our stuff. Thank you guys so much. We will see you next week. I think, Rachel's got my pen. I was just like, where is my pen? Because my phone is kind of wild. My phone is like Crystal's soul. Mine too, right? Does its own thing in these times, right? Okay. So thanks a lot, guys, and we'll see you next week. Have a great night. Thanks.
Bye.